so DJ, it's another day.
It sure is.
So you just did something on this car.
Yeah, I pulled injectors. Cylinder 2's injector was a little leaky compared to the rest. It's all back together. Found another set of injectors.
Okay, well let's fire it up, see what it does. And now on to figuring out what we're going to do with the radiator to get that coolant leak figured out. While DJ's working on that over there, oh yeah, we also have to figure out the fuel pump circuit on that car, so we'll figure that one out. While DJ's working on that, I have Calissa taking the carburetor off of Clunker, the Datsun. So some of you might have surmised this carburetor's given us grief since day one. This is the one that was on the car that came out of Utah. It's had problems. We acquired a different carburetor. We acquired this guy right here. No, that's not the carburetor. Where is that carburetor? It's around here somewhere. Where did we put that thing? Here's the carburetor we got. These are like a Chinese, they're a Chinesium carburetor that got good reviews on Amazon. Looks reasonable. Should work out. Anyway, we're going to put this carburetor on, but because it is a manual choke as opposed to electric choke, we're going to put a manual choke cable on it. And Calissa's going to have to learn how to use a choke. Skills that current teenagers probably have no idea about. So yeah. Calissa's going to learn how to use a choke on Clunker. While Calissa and DJ are hard at work, I'm going to be working on this Hyundai Elantra over here. It came in with a misfire code. It is not currently misfiring, nor is the check engine light even on. So I got to figure out why it came on, and I have to figure out if it was actually a misfire code or something else. When I get done with that, I'm going to move over to this Z up here on the lift. It has strut towers. Basically, the upper strut mounts are completely toast and broken, and they've been broken for a long time. I'm going to fix those while we wait for the engine to come back. Alright, the Hyundai has a P0302 misfire detected. Wonder what the data says. Well, our misfire counters are all at effectively 0, so there's no issue there. If you take a look, that's the actual ignition advance per cylinder, and there's no variation between cylinders. They're pretty much moving up at the same time. So whatever caused the misfire is not actively happening. So now I need to figure out why. So you got the carburetor off. Alright, well that's going to get binned. And we're pretty sure nothing fell down the carburetor hole. Yeah. Perfect. So I guess it's time to start installing that. Alright, so while I've been trying to figure out a Hyundai that's got a misfire that doesn't have a misfire, DJ just figured out what's going on with the fuel pump relay on the 240SX.
The fuel circuit in the ECU is bad.
So we have a bad ECU now.
Yep.
That's cute. So, I believe we have an ECU for this. Okay. So, I think we have a manual trans ECU we can put into it, so
nice.
That should handle that.
Definitely.
Well, it just so happens that we have a manual transmission 240SX ECU. So we're going to go ahead and toss that in the car. That should resolve the fuel pump circuit issue. Alright, Calissa's got her carburetor installed. Why don't you fire that thing up? I wanted to take a look and see if it runs. Ah, it's beautiful. Good job. Next task is to take this manual choke cable and mount it, preferably over there where that switch is. Well, have fun. I got a car to work on. All right, coming back over here to the 240, DJ's working on got the computer situation worked out for the fuel pump.
That's done.
Injector's fixed.
Injector's fixed. Moving on to the charging system.
Oh, so no charging system.
No charge. So we have not been able to charge this battery since this vehicle's been running.
So what's the resolution, do you think? What have you found?
What I have found is there's no battery power to the alternator. The main battery cable that would go on the post, there's no power there.
That's lovely. Well, so probably not the alternator, but maybe the alternator fuse or something like that. Maybe the fuse link or something over here. We'll figure that out.
The manual was saying something about a fusible link.
So since I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this misfire, I thought while I was at it and the mileage and everything, I would pull these injectors out and just run a test on them. So I've been running an acceleration test with this meter. So we're actually getting them to fire all through the different ranges, from idling up to high RPM. And then of course we're measuring out how much fuel comes out. So when all is said and done, we'll see where we're at. And so if you look at those injectors are pretty close to about dead even. Number one actually is just slightly less, but very slightly. So just when you thought that Clunker couldn't get more analog, we add more analog capabilities to this in the form of a manual choke carburetor. So I don't know if anybody would be able to drive your car. Yeah, so choke is in the spot where it should have been, right? Cool. Feel comfortable driving it?
Yeah.
So while Kalissa's putting her air filter back on her car,
Yeah, I already did that.
I'm going to walk over here to DJ. So DJ, what was the charging problem?
One of the connectors was unplugged.
Which one? Was it the alternator connector to the fuse box? Yeah, it was that big rectangular one, 2-wire.
Rectangle one.
Yeah, so
Simple
easy fix.
things. I mean, hey, I'll take that.
Alright, so I got the ignition coil in that car. We decided to change the ignition coil on it. And since we've had lunch, I just got this car in. It's a Datsun 810. And did some checking on it. He had no power. And this fuse was blown. And now I've got to figure out why he doesn't have fuel pump power. DJ is trying to seal up a radiator, trying to get that thing remedied.
Yeah, that bat's pretty good. There's like 3 holes in it. It's not the best way to go, but when you're on a budget, don't make it.
And of course, the big deal with the radiator is we would like to try and save this guy some money to get it on the road. And again, not the best solution, but it's usually fairly permanent. And then I got the kid over here doing her oil change.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm cool like that, Dad.
All right, Clunker went on a test drive, and now Kalissa's checking her tires after having done her oil change. The Kaido Racer runs. The 810 runs. Turns out that you have to hook things up the way they're supposed to be hooked up. But this thing runs, if I could get my hand on it. So that runs. The radiator is drying. That'll get done. And I still have yet to get to that. All right, so we got a radiator in there, right?
Yeah.
And it's running good now. So this came in this way. This rubber inlet hose is just like that. It was hanging there when the car came in. That was going to happen on the highway. Whose idiot was working on this? Well, cool. Now this guy's running. How about that, huh? You see the fake oil lines going through the grill? All in a day's work. Well, I think that's about it for us today, right?
Oh yeah.
We have the 240 running.
It is.
We're running. We fixed Calissa's car. We still didn't do the struts yet. We'll get to them.
Get there.
All in a day's work. Catch you next time.